Good morning, everybody. If you're off today, I hope you're having a great day off. If you're working, I hope you're having a great day working. This is your friendly neighborhood Reynaldito, interpreter at large. And I decided to put together this video because I had been getting a lot of questions about the equipment that I use on the job, which is a little different than the equipment that most people use in the job that we do, especially the crazy announcer's microphone. Everyone always looks at that and they're like, what is that? We're going to talk about that here in a second. The way that my equipment works is via one of two different adapters which I found online. The first one, the older of the two, is this right here. It is made by a company called Headset Buddy, and this is the 2.5 millimeter jack which plugs into your regular headset outlet just like normal. And then the other one, I'll leave that there for a second. The other one is the newer of the two, which I just got not too long ago, and it's this one here. It's pretty much the same, and except instead of going into the 2.5 millimeter headset plug, it has the square RJ9 plug. I hope you can see that. That's the same plug that's on the end of your regular telephone handset cord, what would normally be attached to this. It's the same plug that makes this go to the phone. So I'm going to talk to you about the two different kinds. The first one is, of course, the first one that I found, and I thought it was great because then it allowed me to look at other headsets on the market, wired, of course, because we know what the standard is for the industry. But instead of ones kind of made for us, which where I live were very few and far between, and to get anything other than what was available locally was very expensive, it allowed me to look at gaming headsets. Now, gaming headsets you can get anywhere in your local Best Buy, and there's lots of different ones out there, and they're actually really decent these days because they're made to handle heavy-duty games like World of Warcraft and such like that. There's a microphone, stereo, both ears, awesome right there. And as you can see, these work off of two 3.5 millimeter plugs. There are some that work off of a USB plug. Those do not work in this setup. It has to be this kind right here. Okay, so if you're looking at these headsets, this is what you need to see, the two 3.5 millimeter plugs here at the end. Now, Pedro, this question, this is for a question that you gave to me on the forum. Do you have to actually pick up the handset when you take a call? And the answer is, like I said, it depends. If I use this one, the older of the two, which has the regular headset plug, just like normal, that we're normally accustomed to, then the answer is no. I do not have to pick up the handset, because since that plugs into where you normally plug in a headset, you can use the regular headset button and pick up the call just like that. The newer of the two plugs, which is this one, the one that plugs right into the regular RJ9 jack, where you would normally plug in your regular phone cord. If I use this one here, then the answer is yes. I do actually have to pick up the handset because your headset and your microphone are not plugged into what is normally the headset. They're plugged into the handset area. So what I do is when the phone rings, I just pick up the handset and I put it to the side. As you can see, there's no actual cord attached. It's really just there to literally just pick up and hang up the phone. It's an extremely minor inconvenience for what is truly a major boon. And here's the difference. When I'm using this adapter here, which allows me to continue to make use of the headset plug, most office telephones, the way that they're set up on the inside, the electronics, they're really set up to give most of their attention, so to speak, to what is the primary outlet, which is the handset. This is where all the power and all the juice and all the volume is going. On most office phones, the headset button, or the headset plug rather, is kind of an afterthought, and it only gets a little bit of power, it only gets a little bit of fidelity, it doesn't get the same attention internally as the primary output. So for me, the having to pick this up and put it to the side is totally negligible in comparison to the fact that when I use this adapter, which then plugs to either the microphone here, plus right now what I'm using for my headset, believe it or not, is just like your typical little iPod in the ear headphones. These work awesome. The headset part plugs in right here, and then the microphone part plugs into the other end of this cable here, which is coming from the microphone, which we're going to talk about, which is hiding underneath here. And then all of this, except for of course my actual headset cord, tucks very neatly inside of this area here. Most office phones have this little compartment back here that is designed to flip down to let you hang the phone up on the wall. Well, conveniently it's hollow, and as you can see, here's the end plug for my microphone, and that's where it plugs into the other outlet for the adapter. Whether I use the adapter for the headset or the adapter for the RJ9, it's the same on that side. And I just roll everything neatly and keep it inside of there. I'm really picky about seeing cords and cables and stuff, which is not exactly an easy pet peeve to have when you live in the Caribbean and the walls are solid concrete, so you can't hide anything behind the walls. So, why the difference? Why do I care? When I'm using the RJ9 plug, like I said, because the phone is really dedicated to giving all of its energy to this plug over here, the volume that you get when your headset is plugged over here is so much greater than when you use the headset plug over here, because that's where the phone is dedicated to giving all of its energy. And all of a sudden, I find myself having to turn the volume down on most calls because it's too loud, and that just, everybody knows what that is for us. To have to turn the volume down because it's just too loud is awesome, because this just gives you so much more control and gives you the capacity to be able to field so many more calls with so much more ease, and it's just easier on you. Now, the announcer's microphone, which is of course the complement to the whole setup, as you can see, like I showed you, I have headsets, and this is just one of a few that I use, and I use them every once in a while to take a break away from using the microphone, but I always come back to the microphone because the announcer's microphone has of course a much bigger pickup receiver inside of it, and all of a sudden I'm getting clients asking me to move my mouth away from the microphone because I'm too loud for them. I'm sure I don't have to explain what that is for us either. I know it looks crazy, right? It looks huge. It's like, what is that giant thing sticking in your face? But the strangeness of it, and the fact that you have to be sitting like obviously right in front of it, so you can't move away from it, completely outweighs it is completely outweighed by the fact that the client can hear you so much better. You don't have to shout so much. You have this awesome volume that's now coming from your telephone to your ears. Everything is just really more ideal for you, the interpreter, which of course means that you can do a much better job for the people with whom you are working, and that's a win-win scenario for everyone. One of the other awesome pluses to using this one, the RJ9, the square one, which comes over here, is that if you live somewhere where power outages are common, if you live in Puerto Rico, you know what I'm talking about, then when you use your little emergency princess phone that doesn't use power, you can just plug this right into where the cord normally plugs into your princess phone for the handset, and you're still able to use your headset even if there's no power. You're not having to hold the handset with your shoulder while you're writing, so, which is of course awesome. And like if you live like where I live and power outages are common, you know that that's a total boon. So that's my equipment in a nutshell, folks. If there's any questions, feel free to ask, and maybe I'll put together another video. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.